Hi, and welcome to another video by Jimthecarguy. Today we're working on the 2004, it's a Honda Element, 2.4 liter engine. Problem we have is that the check engine light is on, and after scanning it, I find out the code in there is a 2646. In a lot of cases, the 2646 could be caused by very dirty oil, which is not the case in this vehicle because the oil is fairly clean. The other problem is that when I looked on the computer, I find there's a TSB, a technical service bulletin, regarding an issue with this particular vehicle, not just the Element, but a lot of the Hondas. It says that there's an intermittent failure in the pressure switch, and they recommend replacing it. I'm going to show you the TSB in just a minute. Okay, here's the TSB that actually is. It's 2646 rocker arm oil pressure switch. Voltage is low. The symptoms are intermittent. They'll come and go. Very difficult to duplicate the problem. And the possible causes, the rocker arm oil pressure switch may be faulty. So this is what it looks like underneath the hood. There's a little bit of a tight spot to get into down here, but it's really not that bad. Once you get in there, this is the valve assembly right here that we're going to be replacing. It's this whole piece right here. A couple of screws down in there, a couple of wires you just have to unplug, and then we can pull it right out. The assembly itself, this is what it looks like. It comes right from the dealer. It's not worth buying it aftermarket. I don't even know if it is available aftermarket, but this is the pressure switch I was telling you about inside here. This sits up against the motor like this, and that's the electrical switch there. So I did check the contacts. The contacts look fine. So we're going to remove this and replace it with the new. And as you can see, there's only a couple of screws in the back over here, and it comes right out. So let's get some tools and we'll take it apart. And inside here on the engine, supposedly there's a screen assembly inside there. We're going to check that screen assembly and see what kind of condition that is in. So let's get some tools and let's get started. Okay, I know this is a little difficult for you to see in here, but we're just going to take this power steering hose here, and we're just going to pull it off to the side here just to get it out of our way so that it doesn't interfere in what we're doing down inside here. All right, now, the first thing we're going to do is on top of the switch itself, we're going to disconnect the electrical connectors. There's two of them on top here, this one and this one. There's a little tab on here. You push that tab in and you pull it right off. Same thing on this side here. So let's do that. I'll pull that tab off. Now I already looked at it to make sure, but check your wiring to make sure your wiring is all in good condition, so that there's no broken wires or frayed wires or anything like that. Now, on the side of this valve, right here, the electrical harness is plugged in over here, so I'm just going to get behind it with a pair of pliers and pop it out. Okay. Now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take those 3 10mm bolts out. We're just going to use a 1/4 inch ratchet set to do that. Okay. And this is the valve. So now let's take a look inside and make sure there's nothing in there. So we're just going to reinstall, make sure our new gasket is on here, and we're going to reinstall it back onto the truck. Catch those bolts back inside there. Don't tighten it with a 3/8 ratchet because you don't want to take a chance on snapping those bolts off in the engine. You snap them off in the engine, you're going to have a big problem trying to get those broken bolts out. So don't use a 3/8, use a 1/4 inch set. You'll save yourself a big headache. Snug all 3 of the bolts up. Got them snugged in there, just reattach your harness where you previously disconnected it, and you just push them and you'll hear it snap in place. That's 2. All right, reconnect your hose, your electrical connectors in place. And show you. And that's the new valve installed. We're just going to connect these connectors back through here with some new zip ties, and that's it. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to just release this hose and put the power steering hose back in here where it belongs. Reconnect your power steering hose in here, and it just pushes in. Get all your stuff out of the way, and then we're going to start it up. Okay, so now that we got it together, we're going to check to make sure there's no leaks in there. After we check to make sure there's no leaks in there, I'm going to come up into the front and down underneath in the front here by the power steering. Down here, there's also the screen is actually down inside here. So I'm going to take off the power steering pump. First thing I'm going to do is release the tension on the belt, remove the power steering pump, which is basically a bolt here, and another bolt. You can't see it, but it's down underneath the bottom right here. We're going to take this pump, we're going to relocate it off to the side, and then we're going to remove this tensioner assembly from the car. So let's grab some tools, and we're going to start on that next. Okay, the way we're going to remove the belt is you put a wrench onto the tensioner right here. We're going to pull back on this, and we're going to remove the belt. Alright, then you can release the tension on your belt, tensioner, and we're just going to relocate this belt to the side for now. We're not going to take it out because it's okay. Alright, next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out this bolt here. It's a 12 millimeter, and there's one more on the bottom right here. So let's do that. And the one on the bottom here, you can't see it, so you have to go by feel pretty much. Once you break them loose, then obviously you can take them out by hand. Don't drop anything, because it's going to be a little tough to find it once you do. Take our bolt out. Next thing we're going to do is take that same bolt out on top that we loosened before. Now we're going to relocate this pump just off to the side for now, just to get it out of our way. Right. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take out our tensioner, which is right here. Okay, it's going to be a little difficult for me to do this and show you at the same time, but basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out that bolt right there, remove this drive belt tensioner pulley right here so I can gain access to the other two bolts down underneath the bottom. So let me get this off, and we'll come right back. Okay, now that we took out those 10 millimeters, we're just going to take this cover here right off. If it's stuck a little bit, we just get behind it with a screwdriver and we'll pop that right off. Alright, now we'll just take this out. And let's take a look in there and see. The screen has a little bit of stuff in it, but we're going to clean this out real good, and we're going to go down inside here. We're going to clean this out real good in here, and then we'll come right back. Okay, after we got everything all cleared out now, we're going to put it all back together, and we're going to reassemble it and road test it. So let me get this back on here and get it all back together, and then we'll take it out and see how it is. Okay, I just want to recap now exactly what we did. Just reverse the procedure we had to take it apart. We put our tensioner back on. We tightened the 3 bolts, the one on the bottom, the one on the top, and the one through the center of the tensioner. They're tight. The pulley is back on. That's tight. Power steering pump is back in position. The belt is on. That's it. We're ready to fire it up and take it for a test drive. All right. Just want to point out that after you start it up, come back and make sure you have no oil leaks anyplace so you don't have a little bit of a mess. All right. Let's take it out and drive it, and let's see what happens. All right. Let's take it out and see what happens. Usually when it gets to about 3,000 to 4,000 RPMs is when it starts breaking up. So let's take it out onto the highway and see what happens. So far it feels really good. Let's see what happens now. We'll get up onto a good speed. Everything feels pretty good. Alright, just going to do that one more time just to confirm it. Pretty good. We got up to about 5,000-6,000 RPMs there and no breaking up. Everything feels good. We're going to scan it, of course, and we're going to make sure that there's no codes at the back in there. But as you can see on the dashboard here, chances are it's going to be okay because there is no check engine light. Let's see one more time here. Feels really good. I'd say that's a good fix. Let me just reconnect the scanner, and we'll come right back, and I'll just confirm that there's no codes in the computer. So all right, that's it. All right, thanks for watching. Like always, see you on the next one.